Hi everyone, welcome to a beautiful day in Orange County, California. Today I have a 2023 BMW M3 with the 6-speed manual. I have never driven an M3 car or an M car of any sort. Actually, I think it's my first BMW. I'm going in near the top. I had no idea really what I was getting into, and I gotta say, I was blown away even with some fairly high expectations. I hope you join me today, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Now, first things first, we're obviously starting with styling because, as we all know, this generation of the M3 is pretty controversial. But I don't think it's very controversial from the back. This is a very aggressive rear end. It's got 4 quad, it's the same thing, obviously. Quad exhaust tips. I love the way it looks at you from the back. I really love the new BMW logo, although I believe this is a couple years old now, right? Everything about this rear end, I'm in love with. I wouldn't change a thing on it. All right. Side profile, same thing. There's lines going all the way across it. The rims are beautiful on this car. The color, which is individual speed, which is no longer an option. They have Sao Paulo yellow now, the tennis ball looking thing. Love the color, love the rims. Everything about this works, right? If you look at it from the back, we have, you can see the wheel wells come out, right? I love that. Love everything about all of this. Does it for me. And now obviously the question on everyone's mind is this good looking? And my answer is maybe. I'm really not sure what to think of it. The best way I've been able to sort of put into words is like as if your girl got a new makeover, right? She changed her hair, she changed her color, and you really like what's underneath, but you really don't know what it's doing for you, so you like nod and just go along with it. That's kind of how I'm feeling about the front. There are there are mods that put a body color panel across the grill, and I think that really changes the look of it. I'll probably put one on the screen in post, but that one makes this tolerable, right? This I can't get by it. It just does not do it for me, right? It's just too much. As for storage space, this is actually a surprisingly deep trunk. You can fit quite a bit back here. I did not do a Costco run. Should have, obviously, but kind of did it a few days ago without this car, and I'm not going to do 2 Costco runs because I don't got that kind of space. I'm going to be interrupted by an Aston here, but Orange County things, I guess. Under the hood, obviously, we've got the S58 engine. It's a inline-6 twin turbo, more than enough power. I think this one's got 473. It puts it down. I have no complaints about the power whatsoever. I prefer naturally aspirated engines. I like ringing them out. They sound better. I don't think that's particularly controversial, right? But this does more than enough. It does its fair share. This is a big highlight for me. This specific aspect ratio that it gives with navigation is perfect. I love the way it tilts. I would be an Apple CarPlay right now, and it's much more pronounced with Google Maps, but recording with my iPhone and being connected to CarPlay does not mix. This is actually much later in the day from my first recording, and as it turns out, I had no audio. Wonderful that I caught it. That would have been fun. It's a very responsive dash. There's no this screen just does it for me. Really responsive, really quick. I love it. As for the interior itself, it's a very nice interior. The seats are perfectly comfortable. I've enjoyed being in the car. I've enjoyed driving the car. It's very, very comfortable. I don't think I'm going to be able to live without thigh support anymore. I cannot go back. It's been a godsend. I wish more vehicles had that. The steering wheel is really thick. I love how thick it is. It feels really good to grip. Very nice to drive. The shifter has the same sort of feel. It's not as thick as the steering wheel, but it certainly feels great. And I know what you guys are all thinking. You're like, wow, this guy kind of sucks. He left his Starbucks cup in the car. No, joke's on you. I did that on purpose. And that's to point out that cup holder sucks. That is a venti, and it's tilted at an angle towards me. And when downshifting into first or shifting into third, you will hit that cup. It's not meant for larger cups. It's definitely meant for smaller cups, which is fine. It'll break you of your Starbucks habit,
Probably shouldn't have it anyways, but it's there. Feels like an $80,000 car. I'd wish there's a little bit less piano black, but overall, I think the interior fits the price point. The materials are fine. I love this BMW logo. I know I said that outside. I really do love it. A small concern I have with the car is the footwell. Big flipper foot man. As I said, my foot will touch the top of the footwell when I'm using the clutch pedal. That is obviously not going to be a concern for a majority of people that are in this vehicle, but it does it. I've had to change how I drive so far to try to not scrape the top of the footwell. It's very annoying. It's not going to impact most of you. It'll impact the few of us flipper foot men, and that's about it. Otherwise, there's nothing I got to complain about in this vehicle. The interior is pretty perfect. There's a HUD. The HUD is actually quite useful. I prefer it. It's much better than the one in the Corvette. I prefer it. Overall, nice interior. I like it in here. It's fun. Well, not fun, but it's nice. Something I do think is worth noting as well is that when I first got the vehicle, it took me 6 attempts to connect to CarPlay. And you might think, 6 attempts isn't that bad. The car was really making me sweat for it. It took about 20 minutes to finally get connected. I doubt that's the typical experience, but I think it's something worth mentioning.
Also, important to mention, I am big flipper foot man. Remember that? This is my typical driving position. I got a lot of headspace in here, but back seat, I am struggling, which I wouldn't really expect to be able to sit in the back seat without consequence, but it's important to note. When I first got the car, the stereo system was so good that I had actually not heard any of the tomfoolery or fanfare that this car provides. So that's a big plus for the Harman Kardon system. But what I found after I got rid of listening to music like some sort of normal human being and just listen to the engine, it provides a lot of sound. A lot of sound. And so much so that it actually freaked me out when I started driving it even remotely spiritedly. Right? Over 5,000 RPM, the car sounds like it wants to eat people. And it might literally do that with this grill. Car is very, very, very mean. And it knows it. For sure. It knows it. In the realm of sort of spirited driving, the car has incredible handling. I feel as though I know what I'm going to do with the car. The feedback the car provides is perfect. The steering, I know when I'm driving this car with the way the steering's feeling, I could kick it out at any time. It wants me to kick the car out. It's like, hey, you want to drift? Let's do it. Why not? The car is perfect from that standpoint. And it's not exactly like the Corvette. The Corvette actually feels more precise, much more precise. This feels a bit more playful. And I think that checks out, right? But it's not what I was expecting. And again, I haven't really driven an M car, so I really wasn't sure what I was expecting. But the car's kind of blown me away from a driving standpoint. I've enjoyed every second behind this car. And the clutch feels great. The transmission's great. I know that I have read in some reviews, I've watched some reviews where people have complained about the transmission. I agree, the bite point is immediate and that takes some getting used to, but once you're used to it, this car feels fantastic. I've loved driving with 3 pedals in this vehicle. There's a slight bit of turbo lag that happens. Hard to, it's a forced induction car, going to be turbo lag. But the moment that turbo lag is gone, my sweet Lanta, it will go from, hey, you want to go to, are you going 50 miles an hour? You want to do 85 now? Let's do it, right? It's ridiculous just how quick the power gets down when you want it to. As soon as those turbos kick in. Yeah, it's it's a very, very quick car. It's obviously slower than the Corvette, but the car is clearly remarkably quick. And on the down the same vein, major issue with the driving portion of the car I have is sensation of speed. There's no sensation of speed if the engine isn't yelling at you. And for most people, with the stereo system on, as I said, right, it was hard for me to know that the engine's yelling at me. Or if you're driving in comfort, really difficult to have the engine yell at you because it's actually really, really, really quiet. You trade engine noise for tire noise, you get a lot of road noise. It was very noticeable. It's not something that I think is going to play on people's minds too much because you will eventually drown it out because it's tire noise. I think we all sort of drown out tire noise at a certain point. But sensation of speed is a massive issue in this car because you can be going very quick and not feel like you're going quick at all, right? Everyone's a lunatic down five. I'm just chilling, singing along with my songs, one hand on the wheel, look down, go, Jesus Christ, what am I doing? It'll happen to you. I guarantee it. It's the sensation of speed is ridiculous. There's none of it. Ridiculous in the wrong way. There's no sensation of speed. The Corvette had a lot of sensation of speed. I'm sure because I'm lower to the ground or for a variety of reasons. Obviously, the way the cars are set up, there's much more sensation of speed. The M3 has none. Now, I'm not saying one should drive like the stereotypical BMW driver, right? But the way the car handles and feels, I'm kind of getting it. You feel like you can turn in immediately, so you do. I'm not advocating for it. I don't think someone should be doing that. But you know what? I kind of get it. I still think you suck, but I know where you're coming from. I also think it's worth mentioning when driving the car, there's actually a bit of creaks. There are creaks in this car. I would not have expected that from a $80,000 car. I expect no creaks from the car. Same sort of vein. The doors are flimsy. They sound cheap when you open and close them. I'll probably cut to me opening and closing it and making a disgusted noise. But the doors sound cheap. I don't like that. I understand maybe there's some weight saving thing that they're gonna say or what have you, but I expect more out of an $80,000 car, and I don't think that's unjustified. I'm not being unreasonable. I gotta say, this car's got a really high miles per gallon rating. I despise the term. I think it's corny, but truly, this car's got a good miles per gallon rating. My fuel economy so far has been abysmal, but I'd be lying to you again if I said the miles per gallon rating wasn't off the charts. See, yeah, that little blip of being able to go from 30 to unspecified number is ridiculous. And I the car just gives you a lot of fanfare while getting there, and it's really enjoyable. I am under no doubts that the Corvette's a better vehicle. It almost assuredly is, almost if not nearly objectively. But as a driving vehicle, this is a better choice. And I know that's again, ultimate driving machine or whatever have you. But you know what? I believe you, BMW. You've convinced me. There might be some merit to it. So, what are my ending thoughts on the M3? In conclusion, I am pretty blown away. It's a phenomenal driver's vehicle, much better than I could have imagined. It's much more engaging, it's much more visceral, it's thrilling. In my Corvette video, I said I can't imagine anyone would want to buy a different vehicle at the price point. And this car single-handedly has changed my perception of that idea. Frankly, the Corvette's a better car. I don't think anyone's gonna yell at me for that. The Corvette's a better car. But as a driving vehicle, this is better. And I had more fun with this car than I did the Corvette. The Corvette's more exotic, much more precise, feels more refined. This is mean. It knows it's mean. It likes being mean. And with that in mind, I'd probably choose this over the Corvette if if I was in the market for it. I don't blame anyone for picking either, but this is my choice. Is that it's got 3 pedals. And it's very, very, very mean.